On today's episode of The Back of the Bird, we are back. The boys are back. Season 4 of The Back of the Bird. Some really exciting stuff to come this spring. And obviously some very newsworthy stuff going on recently in the lacrosse world. We talk about all of it. And just really excited to be back. Should be targeting these Friday releases. As always, we can be found on lacrosseculturedaily.com, found on all of the Lax Culture Daily YouTube pages and all of the social media pages, and then obviously at the Back of the Bird as well on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks for joining us. There's no guest today with all the newsworthy stuff going on, including primarily some stuff going on with my teams. Just kept it with the boys, but a great check-in, great catch-up, and really looking forward to a great season. It's great to have you. Let's get into it. This is episode 119 of The Back of the Bird.
Take your first ride and run, baby, run. If you want a sign, this is it. You're mad, you're magic, you're as hard as a gun. You wanna play with fire, consider this. You'll chase the thrill if it's worth the hit, cause you never ever wanna work for it. Take your first ride and run, baby, run. You got a spine of steel and a roar of thunder. Yeah, you make me drown, yeah, you're pulling me under.
All right. This has been a long time coming. To say the words, we're back. After our nice little summer hiatus, this is episode 119 of Back of the Bird, presented by Cottage Springs. I've had a bit of a spring or summer. They've been every little event I've gone to. They've had a little tent there or whatever. And those little springers, they've been a hit. People have been diving into those, I think, all summer, the 7%, whether it's the short can or the punched up. I think everybody's been grabbing by the horns. And I know, like I said, I think a few episodes ago, I've seen a few people fall victim to them. So we'll just jump right into it. We got a lot to talk about. Obviously, there's a few things going on in the lacrosse world. But first, let's just jump into a little summer recap. Paulie, how was it for you?
Yeah, man, summer's been good. It just like flies by. It's nuts. So no, it's been good, man. Yeah, little cup party, little wedding party, both probably brought to you by Cottage Springs. There's a shit ton of springs and a cottage weekend from the leftover springs from those two events. Little boys weekend up at a cottage. Yeah, a couple Muskoka trips, a little bit of golf, a little bit of Cottage Springs, and
How are we hitting the ball right now?
pretty good. I mean, I had to take a little bit of time off from the old heart procedure, but that's all good. Played today. Guess where?
Millcroft,
No,
Greystone.
St. George's.
What the this guy?
Paulie could have said fucking Augusta National. I wouldn't have been surprised. Like when he said "get," the look on your face, I was like, I have no clue. Like cabin mix, I don't know.
Yeah. So I played St. George today and actually was hitting them pretty well. Shot 85 there, which was sweet. So, yeah, long story short, we found a way in on St. George's, and it's just like, it's obviously next level. Like, got to go in the men's room, bar in the men's room, little like poker lounge / men's lounge, patio overlooking 18. So sick. So, first day of daycare, dropped the kids off. This is like all time Paulie dad. Drop the kids off 8 a.m., buzz up to St. George's, play 18, buzz home in time for pickup, little picnic after pickup. Kids are buzzing. Paulie's buzzing. No, it's good. So it's kind of like I'm coming up to 2 weeks here, so I haven't been able to work out. So coming this Friday, I get to get back into the gym, which will be nice. It's like feel like this is the longest I've ever taken off from like working out for a long time. So it's been kind of shitty, but all in all, the heart procedure went well. We're buzzing. The groin's healing up. Did I ever send you a picture of it?
No.
I'll send you a picture of it after.
I did not get the picture of your groin. I think I would have remembered that.
Yeah, because there's usually there's half a nutsack in it too, because it's pretty close to the nutsack. And then no, so it was good, man. That was yeah, it's coming to 2 weeks. So wasn't a crazy experience, but I was awake during the whole time during the procedure, which was kind of a crazy experience. And then
Kind of.
yeah, I
I
guess
would say
it is.
that's
I guess it
definitely
is.
insane.
So like you're awake, and then I'm like trying not to think about it. I'm trying to like fall asleep, but I can't because I fell asleep while I was waiting to go into like the procedure. And then you can just hear him like talking and like doing stuff. Then I'm like, legit, I'm like, there's something inside my body, like they're in there with like a scope. And I was like, so then at one point I was like trying to be like, can I feel this? And then you're trying to like focus on like seeing if you could feel it, but you couldn't. But yeah, it all in all went well. So basically, yeah, Friday, like, yeah, I can go work out, and then come Monday I'm back to work. So it's actually like I've had like a month off work too, which has been crazy. So yeah, man, been able to enjoy some family time. Went to the X, which was a gong show,
Yeah.
uh, but it was fun. And yeah, man, but yeah, it's
Paulie,
just
did it cross your mind once to play this summer? Like, I know since you had your procedure, obviously you can't do anything, but did you even think about playing?
no, no, didn't think about it. No one reached out, so that also helped me not think about it. But yeah, like when I knew that was coming on the docket too, it was just yeah, no dice, just and then honestly, like really looking forward to getting back to like winter and playing, but like I don't miss like summer ball at all. Um, I shouldn't say it. I do kind of miss it, but it's nice having the summer off, especially now with the kids. Like now they're in daycare is a little bit different, but it's nice just to like buzz around all summer with them. But yeah, man. Long story short, I'm hitting them pretty well.
Nice.
I guess that's
Donnie,
it.
Donnie, talk to us about your
Yeah,
summer.
it's
You got
it's
anything
been
new, Donnie?
Yeah, is there anything crazy in your life?
it's been an uneventful summer and then a very eventful last couple weeks. So, um, yeah, I obviously didn't play much this summer. I got hurt again. So I also had surgery this summer. Don't really mind talking about it now that with Cannons losing yesterday. I know I'm not playing again this summer. So got back for the one game and then was pretty cool honor to try out for Team Canada and ended up breaking my hand again at Canada tryouts. Had surgery again and rehab again. Basically the same thing I did the first time. So just went through all that shit again, which sucked. And then yeah, I'm officially a Vegas desert dog now. So it's yeah. I wish I had some. I wish I had some swag already, but
Now
yeah,
you're
we could
now
just
you're
get
desert Donnie. No more Texas Donnie. Desert
Desert
Donnie.
Dawn. The
there you
Desert
go.
Dawn.
That has a bit of more of a rhyme. So yeah, I mean, I think we kind of just want to get into it about everything with Panther City, but I mean, it's funny. Paul is sitting in front of his Boston Blazers photo, which was basically the last team to go through this in the Reebok thing. The best way I can put it is the dispersal process is horrible. It is like so sad. Like I knew it was coming, and like not we didn't know it was coming. We had heard every rumor like everyone else had, and then by the time it got late Friday, we started to have a pretty good idea, and it was definitely probably the saddest day of my career, tied probably with when I was in college and COVID hit. We didn't get to play anymore. It had that kind of feel to it, where I was thinking about like the end of season thing that we did, Danny, where you were talking about how like this team will never be together again. And normally you mean like we'll never be all
No,
together
literally,
again.
we'll
Yeah, yeah,
never
It's
be
like
yeah.
together.
Not that it'll just
Ever.
cease to exist.
right. Yeah, like almost none of you guys will be together again. So and then yeah, and then the dispersal draft itself, I think people know me and they know the stuff I put online. I don't like to criticize. We have to do that better as a league. Like it wasn't streamed. We didn't know. We were in the dark. So I obviously went a little earlier. So, it's basically up to whether the GM who drafted you had a second to text you and to have a minute between between picks when you're deciding guys' lives, especially guys with families and travel commitments and stuff, I think is just crazy. And I don't know why we couldn't have spaced it out better. I don't know why we couldn't have pushed free agency back another hour at that point or moved the draft up an hour. I think it was a huge missed opportunity to stream. I think fans have a pretty rightful space to be upset about that. And, as a player, like, I'm not embarrassed about anything we did in Panther City. Like, we obviously wish we sold more tickets. That wasn't really our control. I'm very proud of what we did. And then it's just such a weird way to end it, kind of. And, again, a lot of people worked hard to salvage it. I'm not trying to point the blame at anybody, but, I just wished it was a better send-off at the end because, like, even the dispersal draft, it just felt like there's something trying to hide. And there's a lot of great people that went in that draft and a lot of great fucking players that are going to help, somebody win a championship next year. And I wish that was kind of more part of it. So, that's kind of my 2 cents on that. And then just a lot of really good people in Panther City. I just wrote a bunch down. So, Hammer, GM, bringing everybody in. We've had a lot of guys come through Panther City and just kind of believe that we could win right away. And that was important. And then TK, pretty much the same thing, just didn't accept losing. And that's not always the case with an expansion team. Coach Goundry and Toller, just beauties. I play for Toller a bunch of different stops. He's the man, and Goundry's beauty too. One guy I wanted to highlight was Jordan Cornfield. He's our video coach. I just want to tell a couple funny stories. I know I'm kind of stealing the mic here, so apologies. But so he's our video coach. He coaches the Edmonton Miners, Senior B, and this guy is a beauty. If you ever get the chance to cross paths with Cornfield, and I don't know if I ever told this story, but we were on the bus to Calgary for the playoff game, and this is when TK couldn't make it to the playoff game, so we're kind of down a little bit, and just like the vibe is kind of off, and he stands up at the front of the bus and he says, "Boys, give me a beat," and he starts pounding his chest like this, and he just goes all the way through "Folsom Prison" by Johnny Cash, just a cappella, just rips it out, and the whole bus is just pounding the chest, and I just remember that he just I think he just thought like the voice needed a kind of a pick me up, and wanted to just fire the boys up. And then another time I just reminded this, sharing some photos with some folks. We were in Philly and there was like some extra hockey gear lying around. So we won. And all of a sudden Cornfield comes in with his full suit on and he's got a hockey helmet, shoulder pads, a stick and gloves. And he comes in like banging his stick on the floor. So he's
That's
a beauty.
great.
And then Amanda Miller is our team ops person, just a stud, just did everything we could. Allison Russell, a trainer. Nick Coyne was our equipment guy, really kind of the glue of Panther City. Those folks do a lot for NLL franchise, as you guys know. And then also quick, just want to throw this in, Andy Esworthy, PR guy extraordinaire, wore a bunch of different hats, did a great job for us as well. Thanks, Andy. Sam Brungo, Kelsey Armand, Kiara Madison, and so many other people. I just want to mention as many of those as I could because it was a sad day for them too. We get to go play somewhere. A lot of those folks work for the basketball franchise that Panther City was part of as well. So it's not like they're unemployed, but they gave a lot too. And there's a lot of other folks I couldn't mention there as well. So just really proud of what we did and really just had a great experience in Panther City.
Yeah, it's I agree. I think it's the way it all went down was interesting. I think obviously like they wanted to try to move the team. That would be the preference, sell the team, move it or whatever. And then it just like happened so quickly. Like I was on playing golf in the morning on Monday, and it was just like I looked at Instagram and it just like had a list of names and the teams they were on. And I was like, what? How the hell did that just happen? Like
that was the same for me. I was coming back from Ribfest and then just like didn't have my phone on me, and I was like, oh, yeah, it's happening at 12, kind of like, and then just I was like, oh shit, it happened. It's done.
Yeah.
And so there was no stream for us or anything. Like we were watching Twitter just like everybody else. So then some guys knew. So some guys were putting in the group chat where they went. And then like the wives and girlfriends chat, like there's some going through there because I drove up to Liam Patton's house and watched with him and his family. So it was like we were kind of like piecing it together. So we kind of like had like placeholders along the way. But yeah, it just was a very difficult process, and I'm happy it's over with. And I want to say also, like, I complained about a few things in there. I'm really happy to be playing in Vegas and really excited for what's coming there. So, yeah,
You got to sharpen up on your craps game now.
I got to learn. I honestly have no idea how to play.
I'm not. I think I only ever played once. It was in Calgary, at that casino outside Cowboys, and like I like kind of like slowly walked up to the table. Like there was a little gap in there. There's a guy to my left, like greased back, silver fox hair. Like, you mind if I jump in? And from what I understand, 7 is what you don't want. Right away, I get like 2 big numbers. Perfect. Let's get out of here. This guy right away, first roll, 7 bangered. He wanted to murder me. Like, I thought, and I thought he was like in the mob. It looked like I thought he was going to take me out for sure. But no, it's exciting, man. I mean, I'm sure there's, as much as it's not great for the league itself, or like a good look or whatever you want to say looking into it. But I'm sure there was a lot of excited GMs to just get free guys tossed on their lap kind of thing, right? It's like, it's not very often you get a first overall pick just kind of handed to you. So it's like, thinking about that from a Vegas perspective, even, it's like, that's a great thing. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit different next year. I'm going to miss that one bar, Donny. Where
Fort Worth was fun, man. No one from
Sneaky City.
yeah.
man, I like, again, we can tell that story now, and it's like I don't even know how to explain it. Where it was just like it was a college bar until midnight, Paulie, and I don't know if you guys went to this one or played there or not.
Yeah, we played there. It's the only time I played there was in Buff, and we went out, but that little district was good except for the one bar we went to. Donny failed to mention a guy got shot literally like 3 days before.
Yeah, so that was a different district.
We were going through the metal detectors. I'm like, what kind of bar is this? And
there weren't metal detectors. That's a lie. Okay, I've never seen the metal detectors then.
They must have added that after the shooting.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was. What makes you feel a little bit safer, but anyways.
Well, yeah, we went to this bar and it felt like a college bar. We're having a blast, like both teams mixing it up as you kind of do, and then, midnight rolls around and everyone starts circling around the dance floor, and like a bunch of chairs come out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now? And
it becomes an amateur adult establishment.
Yeah, it turns into an amateur stripping contest, and it was like I got to like the top part of it, so I could look down and see like all the boys were in one corner watching, and just like being able to have a bird's eye view to see everyone's reaction to what was going on. Like, it was a good time, man. So, but you covered it off well, and I know even Nick Coyne, like that guy, man, he seems like such a good dude and did a lot for the team, does a lot for lacrosse. And funny enough, we were on the same team at the NLL Combine back in the day. So it was good to catch up with him. But yeah, it's a weird thing that this is unfolded. But I'm just like, again, like you said, it could have been done so much better. I'm sure it was even done better back in Paulie's day when you were seeing dispersal drafts. But
yeah, I'm trying to think. Because I would have been, obviously there was Boston, then there was Portland when I was playing, and Arizona. Yeah, I guess I've been like through 3 of them. Honestly, I can't remember how they went down, but I feel like there was a lot more like communication, at least like team wise to player wise, so whether it was more time or I don't know. But I guess the only thing that, like, there's a couple positives, since you guys are being so negative, I'll put a couple positive spins
Let's hear it.
Is that, like, one, like, at least it doesn't like affect the league from like a standing standpoint now that we went to like one team or one division. So like now you're not like, oh, we got to figure out we lost a West East. It's like, that doesn't matter. It was just kind of hunky-dory, 14 teams. Let's go. And then secondly, obviously, like, I mean, depends on like what you want to believe from the rumors, but obviously there were 2, if not 1 potential buyer. So there's like, we lost a team, but potentially maybe we're getting one very soon. And I'm glad, like, again, as shitty as it is, like, I'm glad we didn't move the team because I just think, like, you're starting on the wrong foot. Like, a month, 2 months before the season, like, you're just handicapping that team to, like, build any momentum, do anything, like, kind of properly. So, yeah, as shitty as it all, like, is, and obviously, we never want to lose teams, and, we were riding kind of high, gaining teams, and blah, 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 blah. But I think those are kind of like the two positives I take out that I think we'll have a team somewhere, or if not two teams in the near future, and then just I'm kind of glad that they didn't move the team. Like I said, just I think it was going to be too quick for a whole new franchise to kind of start up. Like obviously you guys would have had success, which is good for new teams, but I just like tickets, marketing, like it's just tough to kind of want to get that year of building, building momentum, building a hype. So
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, by the end, we were talking about maybe doing it in like 8 weeks, right? Like most teams are going to training camp here
yeah,
around Halloween. So you're talking about getting the lacrosse side settled by then, and then what, 4 extra weeks to sell tickets. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It's kind of crazy. So, but yeah, man. I mean, again, it shakes up the league, and now all of a sudden, like you say, everyone's 2, 3, 4, 5 players better. So it's gonna, the league was already tight as it was last year. It's just gonna make it even tighter, which is good for the product and stuff like that with bodies moving. So it'll be an interesting season for sure.
No doubt.
we could
But
go
Oh
right back. We could go right back to conferences now. Now we're back to an even 14. We'll just
yeah.
flip
yeah,
right back.
switch it back.
How
But
was your
I guess
summer, Dan? Dan,
Yeah.
how was your summer?
it was good. It's been full of a lot of different things. Like it feels like there's just a lot on the weekends, whether it's like events of weddings or bachelor parties or whatever. It seems like that's still kind of going on. But I've started to learn to say no to stuff and not just try to do everything because it gets expensive and um, it's a little draining on the body too. So it's been yeah, it was a good one. Kind of ready for fall to roll in and kind of go off the grid for a bit. Um, just kind of focus on getting ready for camp because it's like like you said, that's around the corner, man. So it's a fun thing to think about. I was just over with doing a little workout with Donny's future roommate there, Ryan Lanchbury, which is a fun thing too. That Donny's gonna be living across the street from me, so maybe we'll start doing this podcast side by side. You never know.
We gotta get we gotta get your rollerblades. If you have them already, get them downtown. We gotta get it on the blades.
I would
Blade,
love that. I
Blade,
my I've probably got the ugliest stride in Ontario, but and
I could probably match you. I'm up
yeah,
there with you. Yeah.
if there's someone I could try and hit on the cart on the rollerblade, then that'll be good. But
Bad day to be the pavement, eh? When we're rollerblading, just hammering the pavement,
oh fuck,
just
I'm gonna
choppy
chop that.
steps.
Very choppy, very short. But speaking of that, so I've been obviously we do this we do like an insurance skate once a week, which is just like shinny, kind of split the teams. But um, I got asked to play in like an actual league, like to fill in. And Paul, you love this. So we go out there and it's like big ice at Mattamy, which is like, or I think it's Mattamy, like the former Maple Leaf Gardens.
Yeah.
And I look across the ice, like there's a bunch of guys wearing like D1 gear. Like this is going to be a hockey game. And so I'm trying to get myself a little bit juiced up. I'm trying to get to know these guys in the room. I don't know any of them. I can tell they're all looking at me like, what's going on? I'm sliding Buffalo Sabres pants on. They probably think I'm a fucking good player. And we go out first shift. I'm chasing a guy behind the net. He lifts my stick, but proceeds to hit himself in the face with his stick. He's bleeding. I get a double minor 4-minute high stick, 2 power play goals. They win 2-0. So I don't think I'll ever get asked to play for that team again. That was kind of the end of that. But a good way to show my presence early on. But outside that, it was a good summer. Spent quite a bit of time with family, which was good. A little camping trip with a lot of fishing, hanging with the brothers up in Georgian Bay, which was which was a lot of fun. It's nice to slow things down and get out of the city because it's a disaster. Donnie's coming in at the right time because the traffic, man, has gotten completely out of control. Like it's in the midst of that Honda Indy there. It took me 2.5 hours to drive 5 kilometers. And you're just sitting there like you can't do anything. Like you can't get out of the traffic or turn around or whatever because it's just gridlock. So outside of that, just excited to get back with the boys soon. That's it's on the horizon. And we got some fantasy football coming up. Both drafts I had yesterday at 8 p.m. in both the leagues I'm in. So I was back and forth switching apps, trying to get everything dialed in. So that was stressful. But
yeah, one on your work computer, one on your personal.
I didn't even bring my computer. I was going phone for both, and then ended up missed a pick in one draft. So I took a defense auto pick, and then picked a defense again the pick right after because I didn't know it auto pick. So I had 2 defenses back to back. It didn't go well, but this weekend's our big. We do like our high school buddies. There's 16 of us. We never could think of a name, so we call it the TBD Invitational. So I think this is like year 6 or 7 of the TBD. So we're going down to Ellicottville this weekend, playing a round on Friday and then a round on Saturday. All handicapped up, and then go from there. But I'm probably like a lot of my buddies are really good golfers, so I'm probably the worst golfer in the group.
You have a cap right now?
Yeah, it's like 19.
Oh, it's nice. So if you play well, though.
I know, but you know how hard it is to play well when all the boys are buzzing and getting into it, like and having some drinks. Like I don't play well. I don't. Yeah, that's like a few punched ups in you, and it's like I'm especially. The difference between day 1 golf and day 2 golf is hysterical. And day 2 looks like we're going to get a monsoon the whole day. So it's going to be tough sledding, but it'll be a lot of fun. So it's kind of like the summer send off trip. And then in the fall, I got Riley O'Connor's wedding, which will be nice down in Saratoga Springs. So yeah, it's exciting, man. So what do we want to do? You want to jump into the Minto, Donnie? That's kind of your specialty with this one.
Yeah, so obviously I wasn't playing, so I covered a lot of lacrosse this summer. A really awesome series between Mimico and Orangeville that went 7 games. There's just like the atmosphere in the building for Game 7 was ridiculous. I broke my rule of not ever getting into Twitter beefs. I got into one, retired after that, so... Yeah, it was just awesome to be a part of, and the lacrosse was incredible, and then went out to the Minto. It was in Coquitlam. I don't know if you guys have been there. I know, Paul, you obviously played out there for a few seasons, but a beautiful building out there. I would say like Branson Memorial, just like newer and kind of brighter, but that was like the general size, I would say, for Ontario fans, and it was packed. We got really lucky with it being Coquitlam versus Port Coquitlam. Whereas, like, when I played in the Minto in BC, we played against Victoria. So, like, we were basically both road teams, and the tournament was in Langley. So, I think having the host play in it and then having basically the team next door was awesome. And then Coquitlam in the end was just the best team. I think they took it to Orangeville twice, pretty good there in the finals. And, we did just talked, our last episode was with Coach Malosky. His son Cody was fucking awesome. And the goaltender Jack Kask. I don't really like talking about like NLL stuff in terms of the stuff I do for junior and NCAA lacrosse, but this kid Kask is a goalie. He had 2 shutouts this year. He goes to school too. He goes to Marquette. So as far as I can, yeah. But as far as I could tell, there's never been a goalie to go first overall. Value wise, we probably know that there should be. They're the most important players. So kind of wonder in 2 or 3 years. I mean, he's
that good.
I mean, he's pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty good. He certainly seems to be in line for, a lot of the other great guys that have come ahead of him. And I think he's pretty tight with Delbs, and he looks a lot like Delbs. His mannerisms are exactly like that. He throws it really well. He throws it like very willingly for sure. He lets it fly, and he was in the end really good. And Coquitlam was great. Pat Coyle, obviously a very good coach. They were super well coached. So yeah,
awesome.
if I was an NLL GM, I'd just probably take those Coquitlam guys. Just if they could play for that defense, I think they could probably play for most pro defenses. So yeah, it's a
Speaking of
cool experience.
speaking of that, when is the entry draft? Has that been announced or no?
Yeah, it's September 15th, so that's coming in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's usually when it's around. I guess I
Yep.
just missed it. Wasn't there another goalie who just won like back-to-back Mentos and a Founders?
That was not a goalie. That was Connor Knock. He
Okay.
won a Founders 2 years ago, and then he won the Minto last year with Burlington. And then he was one of those players involved in the Nepean Beaches issue of this summer.
Okay.
So ended up not being able to play for Beaches, went out west to Coquitlam and won his second straight Minto and third straight national championship. So pretty good. Speaking of which, your coach, Paulie,
Not bad.
John Tavares, obviously won the NLL and then won the Mann Cup and then won the NLL again. And now he's in the Mann Cup again. I mean, I can't imagine it's been done that many times.
Yeah, and maybe not as a coach. There was that run. Remember, I mean, you weren't a part of this, Donny, but remember Junes had that one summer. Didn't he win like NLL, MLL, and a Manor like all in the same calendar year?
And then wasn't that the year that they won like the Worlds too?
Yeah, it was some like
It must have
crazy
been-
run.
yeah, it
Something-
must
Or like the World Indoors, I think.
Yeah,
yeah,
it could have been.
which would make sense because Roch beat Arizona in Arizona, and they left right after. But yeah, no. Either way, there's a couple crazy runs. I'm just trying to. That'd be a cool thing to look up, Donnie, if you could ever find it. Like, what is the most amount of championships in the least amount of time?
Black's
Like,
bag on it.
collectively.
Yeah,
But-
Dane obviously basically trading in one of those Man Cups for a PLL championship. And then also, I guess, winning the Mann Cup last year. He's had a pretty good run too. So
Yeah.
that would be the other one that'd be up there. But
For
Yeah.
sure.
That's
And World Championships coming up.
right.
it's crazy.
Almost
Yeah,
as crazy as Connor Knock was a goalie.
What a goalie he is, Connor Knock. But the other thing that I saw today, that speaking of like Man Cup, is like I don't know when this happened, but they just decided that the CLA decided that BC is a tier 2 province, so then they get to sign 3 players, whoever they want, to bring to the Man Cup with them.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of I got a little bit of info on that. So
Feel free to share.
I will. A little Paulie insight.
You're a heck of a storyteller because your pauses you got me right on the edge.
Yeah. So basically the commissioner of the WLA, can't remember his name, doesn't matter, approached the commissioner of Ontario, was like, hey, look at the most recent Man Cup winners, and it's like it's pretty like Ontario biased. And he's like, we want to put forth a motion to be able to add 3 players or whatever. And then Ontario was like, okay, can we do the same? He's like, no. So then they're like, no, we don't want to do that. It's not fair. So it kind of was like, okay, fine. But then he went to the CLA. Sorry, I'm getting all screwed up in my. He went to the CLA, and then the CLA, all the provinces vote on it. So he brought it to the CLA. CLA brings it out to the provinces, and then they're the ones that okayed it. But it's still only for BC, not for Ontario.
That's amazing.
So that's how it all kind of went down, is that he approached it. We said no, because obviously he's like crazy. But then all the provinces like, yeah, for sure.
And the
Quote,
best part is that
quote unquote, it was because everyone hates Ontario. That was the side quote that I heard, that everyone said, fuck Ontario. We hate Ontario. So,
and the funny part is they can add an Ontario guy too if they want. They've added 2 Western guys, but they could add a player that just played for Peterborough.
Are you sure,
Yeah,
Dan? I thought they had to add somebody that's in the WLA.
From what I saw, it was like, and again, it's all online nonsense, but it was like, someone was like, well, they have the opportunity to add someone from Ontario. Do you think they will?
I had heard, by the way, that that they're going to add one more, so maybe that's still coming. But I'm pretty sure they can do 3.
I heard 3 names when I heard
Yeah.
all about this, and then only 2 names got announced. So maybe the third one can't play.
Yeah.
But the other thing about that is like, I
Right, what's
know.
your bet? Let's put our bets in.
Well, I'm gonna say no because I would have said it. I would have thought it already got announced.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm gonna
it
say
does start Thursday.
yeah.
My bet, my out of the reaching for the clouds, our buddy Buffalo Joe Resetarits will just be putting on a Shamrocks uniform.
Wow.
That's not the name I heard, but I'll ask all Buffalo Joe, see what he thinks.
Imagine it's just Paul Dawson. Like, he's cleared Friday.
Gotcha.
Friday, he's allowed to work out again. So, Paulie's just going for one more trip with the Rocks.
That's actually his first Six Nations. I've been on the roster all year, just on the injured reserve.
Yeah. Hey, crazier things would happen, man.
Yeah, I mean, there is that part of it where people do have people on the rosters that aren't there, but we'll be able to play in the Mann Cup. But like then we start having this conversation. It like I get it, but now imagine you're on Victoria, so you just like beat New West, and like these 2 guys just come in. Obviously, for those 2 guys, like it's kind of a no brainer because they get to go play for the Mann Cup. But then like imagine you're one of those fringe guys who is in the lineup like every game, but maybe doesn't play power play, penalty kill, whatever. And then Messenger and Malcolm come in. It's like, yeah, but like you're coming to Ontario, but you're gonna sit in the stands for 7 days. That's a tough scene, and just even like chemistry and all that. I mean, who knows? Like obviously those 2 guys are hell of a player, and you're gonna add them any chance you can get. And I'm sure they had the conversation with the team, being like, "Hey, should we do this? Should we not?" But just seems kind of crazy to add 2 players to like that you played against. It's like that's where kind of like the Ontario thing would be like if you added Resetarits or like say another Peterborough guy. It's like you have no affiliation. It's like these guys you weren't battling against. So at least it's like a new face coming in, not like, hey, someone just fought Messenger in the series before. It's like now he's on your team. Like, go kiss and make up, and he's also taking your spot too. So it's like that's.
It would be kind of funny to see. I mean, again, like you said, it's shitty if you're the guy that's out of there, but like a lot of those European hockey leagues do this in their finals, right? Like if you don't win or you don't make the playoffs, you can be added to another team. Imagine they implemented that in the NLL. At the end of the day, it's just like 2 all-star teams that didn't play together all year going at it.
Well, this still happens, by the way. Like in Alberta, they can pick guys up from the Minto every year. So I think the new part of this is that BC is basically considered
The tier
in this
2
ruling tier 2. Yeah, that's the new part. But this is not really new in lacrosse. But it is. I mean, if Shamrocks can pull it off, that'll be the Minto, the Prezi, and the Manor all to BC this year, which I can't imagine has had happened that many times.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Another
That's a
fun
good
thing to
trade.
look into.
Yep, we got 2 things for the Lax, our buddy at the Lax Mag to look into.
But and so another like crazy back to like one more crazy story. Not really crazy, but speaking of Joey Resetera, it's like last year in the Prezzies, he was playing for who was he playing for? Akwesasne, right? The Bucks, and he got beat out by Snake Island. And in the handshake, they were like, "Hey, do you want to come play for the Prezzies?" And he ended up playing for Snake Island in the Prezzies. They asked him in the handshake.
That's amazing. I love this game.
It's kind of the same thing, but like I don't know how like all that worked, but like they literally just took Joey Rez to the Prezzies too, and they like just lost to him. But that's like I don't know how that would work. 'Cause there's 17 teams in the Prezzies, but I don't know. Wild stuff.
The sport never ceases to amaze me. It was like when I was watching Game 6 of the Mann Cup, and the announcer with 2 minutes left in a 2-goal game, so he wanted to go down to the floor and get some pictures for the league page, and then you could just hear him. Paulie said you could hear him unplug his mic, and he just walked out of there. There was just silence in the game. It was so fucking awesome.
That was all time.
And he was gonna do it earlier too. I don't
Yeah,
know
you
if
could hear him say it, right? But then they started to come back in
he's
the
like,
game.
"Oh, okay, I'm not gonna go down just yet," he says, and then all of a sudden, like they scored that. He's like, "All right, I think I can go down." Headphone
Oh,
off. Like, all right, I guess so.
so
Um,
good. But
yeah,
I guess we
Uh,
can kind of transition to the Prezi now too.
yeah, so Ladner wins their third in a row. The last team to do it was the Miners. Edmonton Miners did it, I think, just a few years ago, 3 in a row. But um, apparently, like the scenes. First of all, credit to BC Sports on YouTube. Everything was streamed,
that was great.
and Tino Farah, Jake Elliott, and Teddy Jenner. Right after we did the Minto, I was gassed. I was like ready to go home, and those guys did basically a 3-man weave for like 18 games
Every game.
throughout the week. It was crazy. That tournament, like every other lacrosse tournament in the world, has been like, okay, we have too many teams, we'll make it into pools. And the Presi's like, no, fuck it. Just play
Every
everybody
team's gonna
still.
play 2 games in one day at some
Yeah.
point, which that to me is still the crazy thing. Regardless of there's being 27 teams, the 2 games in one day is bananas.
Yeah, you can't be doing that. You just can't. Like,
And it's not like it's like, tummy sticks lacrosse. Like it is.
no, it's mean. It's Rory Smith with a Woody mean is what it is.
Yeah.
But and good to see our former guest there, Shawnee Evans, buzzing back, playing some summer ball, putting up a 5 spot in one game I saw. So yeah, it was a pro ridden tournament. But from what I understand, and Donnie, you'll probably have a closer finger on the pulse of this, but from what I understand, people weren't very pumped with Ladner for having too many NLL guys or something.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
there
know.
was
I
there
only
was some
caught wind of that,
they
but
were like weaving. Some guys weren't considered NLL or something because what you're only allowed 3 now. Is that what it is?
it's more than that because they
Okay.
had at least, I think they
They
had
had
at least 4 no doubters. So
Okay.
yeah, I think it must be 4 and then 5. So yeah, I mean, again, like want to stay positive on some of this stuff. We have to get better with some of this off floor stuff. Like as much as we like to joke about it as a Canadian lacrosse community, like we can't be doing protests. We can't be not knowing what the overtime rules are. We shouldn't be playing provinces with different rules in junior A lacrosse. That's stupid.
Agreed. Yeah.
Like
Even
BC
watching
still
the
does
Prezi,
full time OT and we do sudden victory OT. That's stupid. Like figure it out and vote on it and we'll play one. Like
We just
and
don't go to all NLL rules.
I think
Like,
that's how it should be.
yeah.
Like,
well, how do you not do that? Like, how do
yeah,
we not just do all NLL rules? You're gonna go from that league to the NLL, or at least that's your hope. So it's like,
yeah,
why is that
yeah.
not the case?
Well, and my favorite thing is I was watching Game 6 with Lance here, and it's like we were talking about the rules and stuff, and it's just so funny how like discretionary, like even the crease rule in the MSL is
Is it
like
still
it's just
surrender?
the ref just decides what it is kind of thing. And then
Yeah.
I'm watching highlights of guys dunking the ball in the Prezi. I'm like, how the fuck is that? Like, how are they allowed to do that? Like, is that NLL rules in Senior B?
I'm convinced in BC they just if it's sick, they'll just let
Cool.
it stand.
Which I
Silas
think is a
Richmond,
fun rule.
the best player on Poco. This kid is nasty. If you didn't watch, this kid Silas Richmond is going to be a superstar in our league. He twice tried the NLL dunk, like the catch from behind, dunk it to the back pipe, and I'm like, I guarantee you're not allowed to do that. Like there's
Yeah.
no way that that's supposed to stand. But then I mean, he obviously thought that it was going to work, so.
He shoots the shit out of the ball, eh? That guy.
Yeah, he's a stud. He's
He's a good player.
yeah. He's like
Um,
6'4", 6'5". He's massive.
yeah, he's big. He's a big body. If he if he fills out too, even if he doesn't, it's obviously working for him. But
Yeah.
Lighter note, Paulie, maybe walk us through the cup party, man. Your whole day with the cup, and then afterwards, obviously, you went to did the hospital visit as well.
Yeah, so like kind of everyone gets. I mean, there's no like set timeline, but everyone kind of gets like a weekend, 2-3 days with it. So, yeah, so I had it, first weekend of August, I guess, and then so I went to Buff, picked it up on the Saturday, and I was gonna do a big day on Saturday. We were gonna go golfing and then go to my buddy Andre's place. He's the one that had the wedding that was basically sponsored by Cottage Springs. And after the wedding, he's like, why don't you just have the cup party at my place? Like he's got a pretty sick backyard. He's like, let's just have it at my place. I was like,
Is
all
this the
right.
guy that's a member at Greystone?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's got like an acre lot, sick pool, like little putting green. Like it's like a little resort back there. And he also comes to like that's who comes like watch me play. Then we'll stay golfing. So he's like, let's just do it at my place. It's just easier. I'm like, all right. So we do it. So anyways, pick it up, and then so we got Cottage Springs on board for the party, and we got a little pizza maker. So just sent some invites out. So yeah, kind of just did like a little day party. So kids, wives, everyone kind of came, and we're just buzzing around the pool, drinking out of the cup, and then kind of like 6 o'clock, all the parents and kids, go home, and then just all the boys stay there. And so we're drinking at his place, and then another buddy of mine, he's pretty close, I guess, with the owner of Joe Dogs. So he's like, hey, like we're gonna bring the cup to Joe Dogs, and the guy's like, yeah, for sure, bring it. So we get there, and it's just like, terrible. Great idea, but terrible idea. Everyone's like, what the fuck is that thing? Like, I was like, don't worry about it. We're just gonna be over here drinking out of it on the side. And we get there, there's an old George like right at the bar by himself. So we kind of get there, filling up. He's like, hey guys, like, what is that? We're like, oh, it's just like, this lacrosse trophy. He's like, mind if I have a sip of that? So we're filling this old George drinks, and then he follows out on the patio. He was just like hanging out with us all day. This guy was probably like late 60s maybe, but just like made his night, which was cool. And anyways, we were just
It's
buzzing
nice of you to do that for my dad.
it. He told me I could get to Las Vegas too, so for sure. But yeah, and then there's just like a bunch of kids there. They're all over us about being too old at being at the bar, which was hilarious too. They're like, you guys are so old, like what are you guys doing here? Like, oh Jesus Christ. But yeah, it was a good night, and then went golfing the next day, and then just with a couple buddies at Hidden Lake, which was fun. A couple pictures with the cup, couple of drives, and then yeah, then I took it back to Buff. So like kind of cool story. Like I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, because just kind of my fault. I'm just clueless, and I don't really know like Buffalo. But so is our team psych, like our team uh sports psych doctor. Sorry, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, hey man, like you got the cup. Do you mind bringing it to Buff? Like I'm gonna bring it to this Roswell Park, and I just like so I heard Roswell Park, and I just assumed it was like a park. He's like, we'll have a coffee in the morning, and then bring it around, and then lunch on me after. So I was like, I had to go do like my year-end physical anyway. So I was like, okay, I'll book it for Monday at like noon, whatever, and then do it. So I'm just like driving the Buff, like do, like bringing the cup back, and I'm like, oh, I should probably like look at where this address is. So like type it in, and it's like a hospital. So I'm like, so I like email a guy. I'm like, hey, like what's the address? And he sends me the same address. So I was like, oh, okay. Like he's like, yeah, you can valet your car, like blah blah blah. So I get there, valet it, and Roswell Park is like the big cancer hospital in Buffalo. So which was cool. And I was saying this like not kind of again not disrespect to like I've done a couple of like visits like that in other places, but um it's kind of awkward because like no one knows who you are. So you kind of like show up. Like I did one in Boston at the Boston Children's Hospital, and you're kind of just like hanging out with kids, but everyone's like, who are you? You're not like a Boston Bruin. You're not a Patriot. So you're kind of just like, oh, I play lacrosse, and they're kind of like, what are you doing here? So anyways, we roll up. And there's like a full team, like full media team, like this one chick who I think kind of runs the appearances for the hospital, like had it on point. But like as soon as you walk into the door of like the hospital, like no one knew we were gonna be there. There's people wearing Buffalo Bandits, like so it just kind of speaks to Buffalo, like in general. Like people are wearing Buffalo Bandits gear just on the regular. And they're like, hey, is that the cup? And it's like, yeah. So like random people are taking pictures in the lobby, and then we did a full tour of, so it was me and Ian McKay, and we did a full tour of the hospital, and kind of same thing. Like people are like, yeah, like come, like it was every kind of cancer. It was kids cancer, adults, everything. So we went to all the different floors, and but everyone was like super excited to see the cup and like knew who we were and stuff like that. So it almost it almost made it better. Like selfishly, it sounds kind of like really bad, but like it was almost more fulfilling because like people like wanted you to be there and like wanted to see the cup. So it was pretty cool. And then like kind of like to tie it all in, which was like super random. It was my dad's birthday as well, who like also passed away from cancer. So it was kind of like a cool full circle moment. And again, it's just like, it's obviously it's tough. Like you got to see people going through chemo and having this tough time, and but you get to bring the cup, and a lot of these people, like I said, follow Buffalo, so you bring like a smile to their face when they're kind of going through hell, which was super cool. So again, I didn't know that was going to happen, but I'm actually like so glad that's how it kind of ended my day with the cup, which was even better because you see that guys that with the Stanley Cup, and I could have brought it to Joe Brand, I guess, but it'd be the same thing. I'd just be walking around Joe Brand being like, I brought it to Joe Dogs and no one knew who it was at Joe Dogs. So it was, yeah, it was super cool. So it was a fun weekend. You know, there was about 4,000 springs that got dumped into that cup and drank out of that cup, which was great. I think 4 or 5 people got pneumonia from it. So it was all in all really great.
That's so good. Who was like the MVP of the cup party, do you think? Who went all in?
Well, I'll tell you. So I was just gonna tell a story too. So I had 3 buddies from university come down to live in St. Thomas. So they stayed at my place. Um, One slept in. No, sorry. So we put Coco in a big girl bed. So I slept in Coco's bed. My one buddy slept in the spare bedroom, which is like a queen size bed, and then my other buddy slept in Mac's bed, and then Dory slept with all 3 kids in my king, and then one buddy slept on the couch. So I come down in the morning, and like they got to get going. I had to go get the tea time, so we're kind of just shooting the shit, laughing about the night before, shenanigans that happened. And then like I'm sitting down on the couch where my one buddy was and shooting the shit, and then they get off and I go golfing. Get a text from Dory. She's like, "Your buddy puked all over the place." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "He puked all over the deck. His clothes are outside. It looks like a murder scene." Sends me a picture. This guy's hat's on my deck. Shirt's like ripped into shreds, and he puked all over the couch. And I was like,
No.
"Yeah," I was like sitting in it. And then so like I'm like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Dor." Like, I mean, I was like, I was sitting on the couch. I didn't notice, didn't smell anything. And I don't even think he didn't notice. And he was buckled too. He was buckled at the party. So he was the MVP. But then so lo and behold, like so Dory cleans it up, some golfing, and then like a week or two later, Max like screwing around on the couch, flips a couch cushion over, there's just still like one little spot just kicked onto my couch. Like a
Oh,
week, not even a week, it was probably 2 weeks later. So,
oh.
needless to
There's
say, Dory's informed me now we are getting a new couch at some point. So just add it to the bill. But yeah, so that was the MVP. Pistol Pete McCormick, just an absolute beauty.
that's
So he sent me a big message like, "I'm so sorry, dude." Because then like no one knew. So my buddy like sends a text.
so. What did he just leave without clothes? Like, or like, did he not
No,
know,
so
or is he
he
trying
put
to
on,
hide it?
no, he like threw on a different shirt. Like obviously when he was blacked out, he threw on like a different shirt. But I thought it was just like the same shirt he was wearing. I don't know. So anyways, like my one buddy sends a text like the 4 of us. He's like, "Hey, how's everyone holding up?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm just golfing. I'm doing pretty good." I'm like, "Doing a lot better than Pistol, I guess." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Oh, Pistol just like puked all over my couch in the morning." So he was rattled, like he felt so bad.
That's
They left
funny.
and did that, but he didn't know. I'm like, "Dude, it just is what it is." I'm like, because he's a great guy. Like he wouldn't just puke on my couch and be like, "Yeah, gotta go." Like he didn't know
Yeah.
like anything happened. So, anyways, that was the ending to the cup party, which is pretty funny.
That's great, though. That sounds like a good run. It looked like a good time. And also, I mean, shout out to Cottage Springs. They were great to support it.
Yep,
Quick
exactly.
to say yes and provide some cases for that. So that's great.
It's punched up. They gave me all the punched up, which is like,
Yeah, that's so they owe you a couch now.
not that we needed. Yeah, the couch got punched up for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I just treated myself to a new couch, one of those little sleeper ones. So if you want to come spend a night with Donny and I, Paulie, then you got a sleeper couch to hang out on. But it is white though, so no puking. But what I guess do we want to go into kind of the signings, Donny? Do you have those transactions? Are they already posted?
Yeah,
as transactions?
so there's a lot. The big news of the week is obviously the dispersal draft, and then today, recording this on Tuesday. So the big news today is Benesh to San Diego, and then Higgins getting traded with or to Ottawa in return for Patton, Caputo, and a first rounder in 27. But Benesh playing for, by my count, his 10th franchise. He's going to break a shit ton of records here. So he's currently, I just had it. He's 6th on the all-time games played list, and he's 1 away from 5th, and he's 7 away from 4th. So by the end of the year, he'll likely be 4th. I had it in the notes there that big record. Ask Donny. Our guy Paulie is tied for 10th on the all-time games played list, 266.
Yep.
So
wow. Let's go.
9th is 267. That's Aaron Bold. So I actually am not sure if he's playing this year or not. And then Paulie could pass. Paulie needs 2 more to pass Shooter, 4 more to pass Sean Evans, 8 more to pass Derek Sutton. So our guy Paulie's going to be right up there as well. So congrats to Benny, congrats to Paulie, and then Higgy, Patsy, and Caputo getting new homes today as well.
It is pretty crazy because your brother's first. Is he first on that list?
Yeah, he's 312, something like that.
So like to have two brothers be in the top 6, top 7 by the end of the year is pretty. That's pretty fucking crazy.
I think I told you this, Paul, but the physio that I've been working with worked with your mom back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, who do her boys play for now? Like, well, they're retired. She goes, why'd they retire? I was like, well, they played as long as they could. They played for a while. They're just getting older. Yeah.
I actually, I was in London this on Saturday for a 40th birthday, and then just ran into kind of a buddy of a buddy, and we're just catching up. He's like, "Oh, you still playing?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, coming towards the end here at some point, but he's like, "Oh, that's okay, man." He's like, "You get a pension from the league, right?" I was like, "No."
You'll get don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Is the fucking pension plan.
He's like, "Really?" Like, "No, man. There's no pension in this league."
It was funny. I forgot to mention that when I went to the Boston Levi concert at the X on Saturday, and was kind of hanging out with Mike backstage, and then his dad was there, and
hey, Terry?
Yeah, Terry, and first thing he comes out to he's like, "Well, where's Big Doss?" I'm like, "What am I, fucking chopped liver?" He was hoping you were going to bring the cup out to the concert, but he said to say what's up to the boys. It was and they put on a heck of a show, man. It was rammed there too.
Where did they do it? At that little country spot, or where was it?
Bandshell Park, which is just on the other side of BMO Field.
Okay.
But it was really good, and I hadn't heard them play in a while. But whenever they play that "Ghost of You" song now, halfway through it, they go into that "Boys of Summer" song or whatever.
Okay.
And it's good. It's really good. And then I forget the name of the song, but at the end Mike went hard with the harmonica too. So it was a really good show. But trying to think what else I was going to say. The all-time Twitter response by Curtis Dixon there when Benny signed, saying hopefully he got a no trade clause. this league. I love it. We're starting to pick up the just freedom to fire it around. So I'm very curious how that situation looks in Calgary now. But yeah, really funny stuff to see that pumped up there.
It's a crazy, like, the dispersal at 11 into free agency at noon is crazy. Was crazy. And
I
then the
do
draft in
love
2
that,
weeks. Yeah,
I
it's
do
absurd.
love that.
Like,
Just,
from a content perspective and, like,
Oh, it's
all
the
that sort of
best.
stuff, and then, all of these teams with just changing dynamics now. So I think we've already seen a little bit more probably movement than you would see in a normal year. And I think, there's probably more to come. And some teams have guys that have imbalances now they'll want to change, and everyone's better. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else for this up? What do you think?
I got one more thing. We got to choose goal songs this year in Panther City. I chose Johnny Be Good after my favorite hockey player, Johnny Gaudreau. Incredibly sad. Just want to, like, I don't even know what I want to say. He's the fucking best, and an insanely sad story. And obviously, thinking about everyone involved there.
I agree. I think that's one of those things that, like, for me, it kind of just like randomly hits me, like in like random days, like thinking about it. Because it's like, I mean, you guys grew up with brothers too and stuff. It's like you do everything together, and that bond is crazy. And you just think about probably like the joy that they had, like leading up to that, like so excited for that weekend, and now, like, from the selfish, stupid decision from somebody to have drinks and drive, and now like that will, like, life will never be the same. But yeah, I was talking to my brother. He's, one of his really good friends lived with Johnny in Calgary, and just told some of the stories of him, and, like, how awesome of a guy he was, and like how he seemed to be, like, he was just such a good hockey player and such a good kid that, like, he never outgrew just being a kid playing hockey. And you hear stories of it, and I heard it on Spit and Chicklets, like, they were at the bar one night, and, like, he had his signing bonus check in his pocket, and, like, he's like, oh shit, I gotta go cash this. And it was like midnight, and they're like, oh, like, how much is that for? And he's like, 92,000. They're like, you can't just walk up to a teller and cash a $92,000 check. And then, like, again, like, he's one of those people that just, like, didn't look cocky, wasn't doing it for the money, like, made a decision to sign with a different team because it was closer for his family. And you think about all of them at that time, because it's just like, again, it's sad because, like, the condolences and, like, things like that stuff kind of fades, and then it's just like, then they're left there, right? And there's just like a forever hole. And I guess all you can do is try to remember two things, and that at least I've pulled out of it, is to just, like, in every day of your life, is to never let what you do kind of, like, identify you and take away that, like, inner kid, in having fun with it. And then the other part is pretty self-explanatory, and that's just to, like, never risk having drinks and driving a car, because, like, you never know what's going to happen. So
Totally.
There's I saw today there was a girl that was right outside the Saddle Dome there, painting a pretty cool picture that's going to go up for auction, which I imagine will go for a crazy amount of money, with the proceeds going towards them. So
Cole Caulfield just changed his number today to 13 as well, which I thought was pretty cool.
That is cool. That's really cool. But then, you think of his brother too, and kid on the way, and, like, kind
crazy.
of a lifetime East Coast AHL guy. Like, that's, it's just sad, man. It sucks. But yeah, so tough to leave us on a sad note, but it was, I'm glad you brought it up, because I was thinking the same thing. Because, again, it's just like that family bond and stuff, and, like, just having a weekend. I heard it on Spit and Chicklets today, like, having a doubleheader, like a weekend where it's, you're planning a wedding, and then all those people are sticking around for a funeral service. It's horrible. But
well, happier note, we're back. We're gonna try to stick here to the Fridays as much as we can. We'll probably stick to them for the first couple of weeks, and then dealer's choice after that, as we normally do. if you are interested in following more content, we do a newsletter now from Lacrosse Culture Daily every Monday and Friday at noon. It's a great way to get the stuff you want to hear about into your email inbox. So yeah, subscribe to
Yeah,
that. It's available all over the website. So get on there, and we're at Lacrosse Culture Daily. We're on all the socials, and yeah,
I like it.
One more selfish thing. Sorry, I
Yeah.
have the match play finals tomorrow.
nice.
Oh, let's go. How do you like your chances?
I got to give up 5 strokes, but I like it. I like it. I'm ready.
5. Is he an
Yeah.
older guy?
I don't even know who this guy is, so we'll see. Like that's one thing funny about match, but the first guy I played with, like, because you just sign up, right? And the first guy I played with, again, I had to give him, I think, 6 or 7. This
Yeah.
guy looked like he was 81. You just like feel so bad. Like I don't even like hit the ball that far, but like I had to like rip a drive, and they'd be like, "What the fuck?" And you're like, "Well, dude, like, what do you want me to do?" Like, fuck.
Yeah. You already want me to take a little off it? I'm already giving you all these strokes.
Yeah. So,
Well,
anyways, yeah,
we'll have to
that's how.
update it. I look forward to that update next week then.
Yeah. 3:30 tomorrow. So little teaser round today at St. George's. So go from a super hard course to Millcroft National.
You might shoot 55 down at the Millcroft Club.
Be doing the chid breaking 50, Bryson DeChambeau. I'll be driving the greens now somehow.
Yeah, I love that.
I found out recently that like from a video perspective, doing golf content and doing like the shot tracer is not very hard and not very expensive. So I think we could do like a sandbagger type thing, like not to that quality, but we could do our own version pretty easily. I think. So
Yeah.
someday we'll have to get out there.
Maybe, maybe we'll have to look into getting something ready to go for the
NLPA.
NLPA thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
The other thing too, we're open to the idea of kind of adding some more sponsors to this thing.
Yes.
So if you are interested in kind of having your own segment, getting an ad read out there, being a part of graphics or anything like that, just reach out to us, send a DM to any of the three of us or to the back of the bird of the account itself, and we'd love to chat about getting you involved, because again, we want to make sure we can kind of keep putting effort and energy into this thing, but that's what kind of makes the whole thing go around. So we appreciate you guys listening. We're very much back, and if there's anyone that you want to hear from in the next before camp leading up to the season, this should be the time when guys have some time to sit down with us. So let us know who you'd like to hear from, and we can try to reach out to them and get them on. But I think
Beauty.
does that pretty much do it for episode 119 of Back of the Bird. We appreciate you listening.
The all fella edition. All fella.
Yeah, the boys.
See ya.